Right. Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, chat. Good evening. How's everybody? It's 2 weeks till my GT. So I'm gonna have to I'll have to do some basing tonight. Don't know how well this is gonna go. But there's a lot of models that need based. We'll make a start, we'll see how we get on. It's not going to be the most fun thing to do. And normally I would wait until these guys are a lot more painted to base them, but this is my list. Surprisingly, I'm going to be using Outriders at the GT. 2 squads them, in fact. 32 people GT, man. As far as I know, last time I checked, we'd sold it out. I think we had 1 cancellation, so maybe 31, but I'm sure it's gonna... I'm sure the final spot is gonna... like, it's gonna sell back out, or whatever you call that. Alright, Armageddon Dust is where I'm starting tonight. Wow, this paint looks like it needs a mix for sure. Hello Rob, hello Rezio, hello Mistral, how you guys doing? What's happening? Happy Saturday. We're having a good day. Well, I even got an impulsor that needs based as well. Who would have expected an impulsor and Outriders to make it into a Blood Angels GT list? Not me. Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised that I'm using them now, Rezio, but I guess maybe if you'd asked me about 2 months ago, I wouldn't have thought impulsors would have made it into my list, I guess. I'm just going to scoop out I'm going to scoop out a metric ton of this texture paint. That's probably enough. And see how it gets on. I like to use like really crappy old brushes when I'm using texture paint. So I've got a really crap old brush here to destroy even further. And I'm also going to be using like one of these spatulas. I also tend to water it down quite a lot because I will paint over this. Hey, what's that? Tarzan says there's a new Sanguinary coming. Is there? Is it a Chapter Master Valric rumor? I don't know if there's been releases today. I haven't seen them. I must admit I haven't been following any 40k stuff today. Just been a busy day in the life, I guess, with the kids. Did like 2 kids classes and then spent ages playing with my other kids. So yeah, it's just been a busy day. Hey Miles, good evening. But thanks so much for a membership of 37 months, dude. That's insane, actually. I really do appreciate that. We've got some people now that are coming in. I mean, the channel's only just coming up to about 4 years old, so if you've got 37 months, you're like an OG Blood Angels Commander subscriber, so thanks so much for that, Tarzan. It's super appreciated. But having played Miles this week, and got beat by Miles' Grey Knights again, I think Miles is going to win the GT. I don't want to play against Miles at the GT. That Grey Knight list is very, very tricksy. It's got so much shenanigans, and it's very good against my list as well. Maybe if there was like a Maybe if Miles runs into an opponent with tons of anti-tank, then Miles might have a problem, but against me, his list is very, very effective. I must say that it's a very scary proposition, 3 Land Raider Redeemers for essentially what is a Blood Angels infantry army with a few bikes. Because, like, I think 16... Do you know what? I think 1,500 points of my list is pretty much infantry and bikes, and only like 100 points of it is bikes, 150, something like that. You know, I've never actually fully painted an Outrider as well. I know they've been out for like the best part of a decade at this point, probably. I'm trying to think when Outriders came out. It wasn't Dark Imperium, was it? Or was it Dark Imperium? Maybe it was Dark Imperium. So if it was Dark Imperium, it's 7 years we've had Outriders. It's the first one I'm finishing painting, or I'm not even finishing painting. This is the first one I'm basing, I guess. Is it too much copium to hope for a new Gabriel Seth model? I think that we'll get more Blood Angels Primaris models. And probably the fact that Seth has been off sale or discontinued now for the best part of like... I actually don't know. I think they stopped selling Seth like towards the end of 10th edition, right? So Seth's probably not actually been available to buy now for probably like 18 months. So yeah, I don't think it's... I think there will be a new Seth. Whether or not it will come with the Blood Angels Codex and the refresh, I guess it's 50-50, but yeah, I think for sure there will be a new Gabriel Seth at some point. Evening, Carl. Marco says, hi Commander, if Librarian is definitely the best character to add to a Terminator squad, what is the perfect character for an Incursor squad in an Impulsor? It's a strange option actually, because typically people put Assault Intercessors in the Repulsor. I haven't heard of many Impulsor. Sorry, I haven't heard of many people putting Incursors inside a Impulsor. The best character for leading Incursors? Not many people lead Incursors with characters, which is funny because Incursors were like so popular in 9th edition and now they just don't get played at all. I actually don't know, Marco. Maybe someone in chat can help us. Chat, what's the best character to lead a squad of Incursors? I was gonna say like it might be a full boss librarian or something to give them the fact they can't be targeted, but Incursors are kind of more of a frontline unit, so I don't know if that is the best option. Maybe someone in chat will know. Nathan, I've spent the last couple of days building Tyranids and Necron models, priming and painting as many as possible so I can take them all to play with my family when I visit at the end of the month. Good for you, man. I've been playing this list for a little while and it's been very unpainted and unbased. So I thought maybe tonight what I'd do is just throw texture paint on like a bunch of models, and then tomorrow what I'll do is I'll just give them a quick wash, and then they will at least be somewhat... They'll at least look somewhat coherent, right? They'll be red with base paint. So that's my plan. But yeah, I think the Librarian accompanying a squad of Terminators is actually pretty interesting. Not many people do it, but when you actually break down the math, and the fact that it's got some resistance to the psychic units as well, I feel like that could actually be pretty nice. Hello Art, good evening. It was Indomitus that had Outriders in it. Was it? Oh yeah, so it was. So they're only 4 years old, okay. Evening Campbell, how you doing? Why did you think the tournament was today, Campbell? I take it you're not coming, right? You just got confused with the dates? You certainly scared Phil, who was flying in across the world for the tournament. scared me for a minute as well. But I was confused. I find the quickest way to do this is to get a good amount of it onto the base and then just use a slightly crappy wet brush and just try and spread it all around. Try not to hit any of the model. Easier said than done, right? When all the texture paint's like glooping all over the brush. Evening, Glenn. How you doing? I think I might get a battle against Sisters of Battle on Wednesday night because Andrew's got the Sisters of Battle Codex leak now, and I think Andrew's going to try and bring the Sisters of Battle to the GT because he had this like notion that he was going to play Eldar, but I think he thinks that Eldar aren't going to be super strong with the Pariah Nexus cards. Well, I did order my Pariah Nexus cards. I think they should be coming next Saturday. I'll obviously make some videos. Do you know what? It's quite good actually because our GT will land. I'll get 5 games that weekend, and then hopefully, having played the 5 games, I'll have learned a few things about Pariah Nexus. So it probably means I can be quite timely with like a very useful tactics video about Pariah Nexus. If you're not aware what Pariah Nexus is, that's the name of the new cards that are coming. They're going to replace the Leviathan deck. I believe they come out next Saturday. I believe there's supposed to be a points update this week, maybe Wednesday or Thursday, and I also believe there's supposed to be a balanced data slate this week as well, maybe similar time, Wednesday or Thursday. It could be a very busy / big week for Warhammer 40,000. I mean, Pariah Nexus is going to set up the second year of 10th edition, and I guess the new points and the new balance data slate should also set them up as well. The main thing I'm hoping from the data slate is a nerf to Mega Knobs. I think they're super overpowered. I think they'll nerf them. I think they'll nerf them points maybe, but I don't know if they'll do anything else to orcs. I guess we'll find out. Hey Phil, how you doing? Pariah Nexus makes advancing actions illegal. I like the deck, but I don't like that change. What do you think about that? Well, I think they're trying to force you to take battle line units again, Rezio, right? Because in certain maps or certain secondary missions, you'll want battle line units will be able to either advance and do actions or even shoot and do actions. I think it's basically they're trying to re-add some of the force organization. Remember when you had to take like a few battle line units for your detachment? It's like a pseudo version of them trying to re-add that. They kind of, by forcing people to take a few battle line units, you kind of add some sort of like low level balance to the entire game, if that makes sense, right? Like, because when you don't have the condition to need battle line, lots of people don't use any battle line, right? They just spend all 2,000 points on, like, I guess gone are the days of calling them heavy support and elites, but essentially that's what you do. Is like, if you don't have to take, if there's no real reason to take battle line beyond like one more point of OC, which is not always a reason, because some armies don't really care if their troops are 1 OC or 2 OC. So if you don't have to worry about that, I guess that's what the change for Pariah Nexus is. I mean, in some cases, Reziel Blood Angels are in a good position because we move pretty fast. Like, we have a bunch of fast-moving troops anyway. You know, like we can run Outriders, we can run Jump Assault Intercessors. So maybe for Blood Angels we'll just see less Scouts and more Jump Assault Intercessors. I mean, they can kind of both do actions, and some people have already kind of moved away a little bit from Scouts. Some people not so much, but we might just see a bit of a shift more to like, now an Assault Squad for 15 more points, it's got better save, it can move that 12 inches guaranteed and do a bit more damage, you know, so it's like we might just see some sort of change like that, I guess. In a vacuum, the Librarian in Terminate Armor is a better option, but I find the Captain works better with Total Army Synergy. Yeah, maybe. I like the Librarian. I like his Smite. I've used him a few times. I think his Smite's generally pretty fun. Nothing that advances can do actions. Battle line units can on certain missions, dude. So it's a push towards battle line. I mean, I guess the question is, did you like having to have battle line units in your army? Because I don't think it's a strong enough push towards battle line, but it's probably the strongest push that they can make without like reintroducing force organization. And I don't know if they want to reintroduce force organization. Ball Predators used to perform actions after they advanced. Yeah, I mean, anything that could advance, I guess, could perform actions, but yeah. Remind me, did Inceptors have their weapons were assault, weren't they? I haven't run Inceptors since the last tournament that I was at in January. I think it was about January that the Sons of Sanguinius got that update to make their detachment a lot more viable, so I don't think I've run. It might have even been November, actually, because maybe I didn't go to the tournament in January. Maybe it was November. I don't remember that far gone, but I do remember I was playing Gladius with Inceptors. I think Inceptors' weapons are assault, but yeah, I guess that's irrelevant now, right? Riziel's taking battle line anyway. I'm not. I think I'm going to this GT with no battle line. I guess we'll find out if it comes back to haunt me. But I don't think the push to battle line is quite strong enough to mean like you need to play battle line. I think you can probably still do okay without it. Plus, at this point, I've had like what 12 practice games or something with this list. Maybe not 12, but like 8 or 10. So I just want to play this list that I've had 10 practice games with. I'll get like 2 or 3 more. I like going to tournaments with lists I've had a lot of practice on. Whether it doesn't really bother me whether or not they're meta or competitive. It just bothers me if I've had a lot of practice. Because I think if you've had a lot of practice with a list, that's the best prep you can have for a tournament, rather than just picking something that is very meta, right? Different people have different styles, though. I also don't overly like just copying lists online. I like trying to come up with my own ones. So this list is 100% my own, with 10 Sanguinary Guard and Dante and the 2 squads of Outriders. Like, not many Blood Angels players are playing that. I didn't even know if it would work either. It's only just like, I guess it's been winning quite a lot of games, so I think it can work. But I guess we'll find out. There are better players at the tournament than I have been playing on stream, I guess. I mean, the people I play on stream are pretty decent, but there are definitely harder to beat players at tournaments. The people I play on stream usually are like mid-table at tournaments, or slightly above. Like, I want to say Brett usually goes like 3 wins, 2 losses. Colin usually goes 50-50, almost wins and losses, and then Andrew's usually the one that's highest. He was at one of the Brewhammer events just recently, and he went 4-1. So I'm trying to think what army he played to 4-1. I think it. Oh, I should know because I talked to him about it. I can't remember. But yeah, so slightly above average potentially, I suppose, are the people that I'm playing on stream, but they're not winning GTs. They're coming slightly above average, I guess, right? But then, hey, I'm not winning GTs either, so can hardly talk, right? Kind of wish I hadn't stuck the bikes to the bases, because it would be much easier to paint texture paint under them if they weren't glued on, you know that? You hope that they add this unit counts as battle line to more detachments. That would be very cool, actually. I mean, I know Dark Angels had a bit of that, but that would certainly help with a bit of flavour throughout the game art. I think you're right. Did anyone come back on what's the best unit to lead in cursors? I don't think many Blood Angels players are playing in cursors this edition, honestly. I don't know what it is. I mean, I do like the buff that they give. I do like the fact that they've got mines, but I guess it's probably just they don't have any AP and there's better options for actually doing some real damage, so... I think people are... Yeah, I think a lot of people are running infiltrators, but not so much in cursors. Whereas, like, in the previous editions, there was a bit of a tendency to run both, maybe? I know I definitely run some lists where I had both. It just feels like you don't do both as much anymore, I guess. I thought that as well. I thought you might see some more regular intercessors just because they have the sticky objectives keyword, right? Or the sticky objectives rule. To be fair, I ran regular intercessors at the last GT I went to. I was running Gladius at the last GT. So I ran regular intercessors to that GT. If tournaments allow secret missions, and they allow... and how they allow them might also... I think tournaments are going to run secret missions. I don't think that there's any real reason not to. Hello, Steeps. Hello. The secret mission options, though, feel... They're not going to be as rubbish as Gambits, but I think there's going to be a lot of times where you're not going to pick secret missions. Like, I'm not convinced that they're a million times better than Gambits. Right, I just dropped a big chunk of texture paint in my water. So I guess if I do, I don't think I'm going to finish basing the models that I'm working on. But if I do finish the models, I have to make sure that I change my water because there's a big chunk of texture paint inside it. Oops. These big bases sure use a lot of texture paint as well, don't they? What's your current army detachment? Sons of Sanguinius is the current army detachment. I haven't made a video on my current list, but I am running my current list to GT in like 2 weeks. So, like, I guess... And I am pretty... I feel good about my current list. I've played it enough times that I feel pretty confident with it. I know what units are going where. I think I'll do okay. I mean, I think I'll get top 10. It's only 32 player GT. I think I'll win at least 3, maybe 4. I think there's some bogey armies that I will struggle with. And there's some armies I have very little experience against this edition, so... I mean... You know, there's a small chance I could do okay, and I guess if I do okay, then I'll break down my list in a video and talk about why I did it, and things like that. I mean, I might break down the GT regardless of where I finish. But I also liked the current list because I don't think any other Blood Angels players playing anything like I don't think many people are taking Dante plus 10 Sangregard. I don't think many people are taking double Outriders, double Predator Destructors. I think I'm having quite a bit of fun with it. So, yeah, Sons of Sanguinius is... I kind of was getting bored of Gladius, right? As much as Gladius is a decent detachment for Blood Angels, I don't really play... I'm not really a shooting person. I mean, I usually have some shooting in my list, but I'm like, I don't really like a detachment where everything has to be shooting. And that's definitely what Gladius feels like, because Gladius is obviously a much better shooting detachment, I guess. Because Gladius is kind of the Ultramarines detachment, right? Because, like, it's got that, like, Roman-esque feel to it. I mean, that's where the name Gladius comes from, I believe. Yeah, and I had to play Gladius for like 7 months or something when the Blood Angels detachment was kind of dog shit, and I was enjoying it well enough. But the second the option came to just go back to a more melee detachment with like actual meaningful melee and feel like we've got a decent buff and stuff, I definitely jumped on that, I guess. It's refreshing to see Outriders. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to see them as well. I kind of just threw them in the list as an experiment because no one was running them, or no one I knew was running them. And I played Dark Angels a few weeks ago, and the Dark Angels list had some Outriders on them. Actually, it was last Sunday I played them. And I don't know if I felt like they were meaningful in Dark Angels, right? Like in Blood Angels, they felt meaningful because they can get quite high strength. They can get quite a good number of attacks. But I guess in Dark Angels, their strength is just 4, and their attacks is just 4. So I'm not sure I felt like the Outriders had the same impact for the Dark Angels as they do potentially for the Blood Angels. And I guess that would go for other detachments as well, potentially, right? So if you enjoyed tonight's stream at any point, guys, please leave a like. I know a bunch of you said congratulations on 15,000 subscribers this week to me, so thanks so much for that. I can't quite believe that we're still growing every single day, but we are. It's going to be 15.1k subscribers probably by tomorrow, so onwards and upwards towards 20,000. That's the goal, I guess. Hello, Alan. Yeah, the music is called White Bat Audio. Just search him on YouTube. He's got a giant channel. Hello, Carrie. This precise tune is called PS2 Synthweave Playlist. White Bat Audio. But yeah, he does lots of he basically does all the music for my channel, and it's all it reminds me of like 80s movies maybe a little bit. But hey, I grew up with 80s movies. I love 80s movies. Don't know if you can see my giant They Live picture behind me. One of my all-time favorite 80s movies. I have come here to kick ass and chew bubble gum, but I'm all out of bubble gum. That was the game that Duke Nukem was based on, right? Oh, sorry, that was the movie, not the game. Duke Nukem is the game based on the movie. I keep looking because I know Aliens, which is also one of my favourite 80s movies, the second one, James Cameron one, I know Aliens has had a 4K re-release But normally what happens is they release the 4K re-release, and then like a few months later they release the Steelbook. And I friggin' hate that, because I'm never going to buy the same movie twice. So I haven't bought Aliens on 4K. I'm waiting for the inevitable Steelbook. But the second they do, I'm going to buy Aliens and then enjoy that movie in 4K for the first time ever, I guess. God knows how many times I've seen Aliens, but what a great movie. A lot of YouTubers do use Flightbat, yeah, because he's very kind and gives a lot of his music away for free.
I have awoken.
Oh, Resi51, welcome to the channel, dude. Hello, thank you. When you do become a member of the channel, you get access to our members only room on Discord. So go onto Discord, link up your YouTube account to your Discord profile, and join us in our members only room. I try and make sure that I speak in, well, I was going to say, I chat to the people in the members only room like pretty much every day. This week we've been talking a little bit about the football kicking off this weekend, but yeah, no, normally we talk about 40k, and I was going to say there's going to be a lot to talk about in the coming weeks with the new data slate, the new points costs, hopefully a new roadmap as well, right? Like, I think that's the thing that most people are wanting to see, is like the 20... I guess it would be like the 24-25 roadmap. Like, what codexes are we getting in the next year, you know? How long do we got to wait for Blood Angels? Where are they at? Aliens Romulus looks good. Do you know what I actually wanted to see? I don't think I'm going to get to see it because with having the two kids, it's very difficult to get babysitting for my family to go to watch a movie. But I actually thought Bad Boys, there's a new Bad Boys movie. I liked the first couple. I don't know if I really remember Bad Boys 3. I definitely remember Bad Boys 1 and 2. I think Will Smith in Bad Boys was always pretty good. So I came out of the blue. I never even knew they were making a new Bad Boys movie. Anyone seen Bad Boys 4? Thanks for getting me addicted to Warhammer again. Welcome back, dude. It happens to all of us. I had a long break actually, like probably like 6 or 7 years. Had some real life stuff happen, you know. Moved around a bit, had a few different jobs, that sort of stuff, and then came back. And I've been very blessed since I came back. Since so welcome back. It's good. And yeah, come hang out in the members room, because that's the best way to. I was going to say, I mean, I am live a couple of times a week. I am do try and put out a couple of videos every week, but if you just want to come and hang and shoot the shit, then the members room is where you want to be. Alright, I got so many models still to base. Let's get another bike done. So it's 4 bikes and an impulsor done so far. I've probably got 11 or 12 infantry to do after that. I heard Furioso was decent, but I also heard that it's bombed at the box office. It's kind of weird. I guess since COVID, some stuff has been struggling at the box office or whatnot. We had our... I was going to say... So COVID started in like, I think it was February 2020. My daughter was born like 3 months before that. So like we... For us, it was a bit weird. At the same time as like COVID happened, we just had our very first kid, and when you have your first kid, you're like super busy and you can't do anything except look after the kid for the first couple of years. And because it's the first kid, you're so worried about everything, and you're so overprotective. You know, like when you have a second kid, they're just like running around the house like climbing on furniture and stuff, and you're like, oh, they'll be fine because you already had a kid. But we had our first kid right when COVID kicked off, and because of that, we haven't really been to the cinema. I think in the last 5 years, I guess since February 2020, I guess when COVID happens, I honestly don't know if I've been to the cinema. Like, I think we went to Guardians of the Galaxy 3? Is it Guardians of the Galaxy 3? I think we saw that, and I think that might be it. Maybe we went to see Little Mermaid, the live action, with my said daughter, who was born during COVID or just before COVID. So I've been to see 2 movies, but I think a lot of people, because the interesting thing though, right? Like, if you pay for Disney Plus, all those Disney movies come out they're out within 3 months on Disney Plus, and so in our situation it just makes sense to wait, right? Because if we want to go out to a movie, we have to get babysitting and all this nonsense, and so we just wait and watch them on Disney Plus. But it seems like a lot of the time Disney are saying oh, our movies don't do well. It's like, well, you release them on Disney Plus in barely any time, so of course they don't. People are happy to wait, right? I don't know. I'd like to see the new Aliens one. I'd like to see the new Bad Boys one. I'm probably going to end up waiting for both. I don't know what streaming platform the Aliens one will be on, but it'll be on something, right? That's a cool paint scheme. Thanks, dude. When I first got these Outriders, I kind of thought to myself, they would be very cool in Death Company, and I know that it makes no sense that they can be in Death Company or whatnot, but I just thought it was this... Sometimes my schemes, I have everybody painted as Death Company or regular Blood Angels or Sanguinary Guard, and usually what happens is if I've been painting a lot of the specific models, when I went to paint my Blade Guard, I must have just done 2 squads of guys in red, and I was I'm not doing the Blade Guard in red because I'm bored of doing red at the moment. So I painted my Blade Guard in gold Sanguinary Guard style armor, because I figured in the lore they're called Blade Guard veterans. Veterans are usually first company. First company usually means in Blood Angels Sanguinary Guard, right? So I sometimes just I painted one of my Redemptors in this black style. Obviously I've done no edge highlighting and stuff on this model yet, and I will. I'm just getting the bases done for now, but yeah, it'll bounce around, so my army doesn't necessarily follow proper chapter command and stuff like that. It follows rule of cool, or it also follows rule of I just painted 20 guys in red paint and I'd like to do something different, so my Outriders are going to be definitely. Oh, Furioso didn't bomb as much as I had an insane budget. Yeah, I guess some of the new movies do have insane budgets now. The Alien Queen is a Disney princess? Okay. I don't know what to believe. I always just wish they sort of made a regular follow-up to Aliens, one where Newt and Ripley and all that didn't die in well, Ripley didn't die in hyperspeed. It was Newt and Hicks, like a proper follow-up to Aliens 2 rather than... Aliens 3 was alright. Wasn't the worst movie in the world, but I guess it was following on the heels of greatness, right? Have you ever rebased models before? Yeah. I also use base extenders quite a lot when I have to rebase models, so that it's quicker and easier. But all my models use this. What's this paint called again? Armageddon dust. That's what I have on all of them. So I Armageddon dust them, and then I basically wash them with Agrax Earthshade. Then I'll dry brush them with Tyrant Skull to just make it look a bit like of a sandy texture. So my bases are very simple. It's like a 3-step process. Get the texture paint on, then get a quick wash on, and then get a quick dry brush on. Julian says, I've not played a single match of Combat Patrol yet. Warhammer is the ultimate exercise in patience. It's also a good exercise in like motivation or endurance, right? Like you gotta be motivated, you gotta keep plucking away. I don't know if, but the thing is, you don't have to pay, like, you need to find some people that will play you without fully painted models. Because I play every week on stream without fully painted models. It's not the end of the world. 3 colours minimum is usually what I shoot for, so you can look at these guys. They're definitely painted. Like, he's got black, red, gold, silver, and then that's good enough to let me move on and do something else and then come back, right? No, none of these are Dark Angels Marines. They're all Blood Angels Marines. They have had a couple of conversions though, right? Like this guy's got like a Blood Angels shoulder pad thing converted onto him. He's actually got a Death Company shoulder pad on there. That's I think that's from the Blood Angels upgrade sprue, honestly. So I've put little bits and pieces of like extra Blood Angels bits here and there to try and give them a little bit more flavour. Hello, Highland Phoenix, good evening. You're always missing my streams these days, man. It's alright, I'm not mad. I got texture paint everywhere, apparently. At some point I'll get a new mat. I just have this mat that's just absolutely filthy. I did try and clean it a few weeks ago, but no, I think it's permanently stained with every colour of paint under the sun. Carl Urban's Dread. Hey, I just watched the first episode of season 5 of The Boys. Season 4 of The Boys with Carl Urban in it, like right before I came on stream. Evening, Kev, how you doing? You're still working on that boarding actions train, Kev. You've been working on that for like 9 months, dude. How much train are you working on? What are you doing? Man, I'm so glad I didn't paint those boarding actions walls and just got them commissioned. Mike, who painted the boarding actions wall for me, told me he did not charge nearly enough money for them. Apparently they were an absolute nightmare to paint. There's a lot of work. There must have been like 50 wall sections or something in that boarding actions, was there? The Black Rage bike should go blindly in a straight line. I mean, we used to have rules for inducting units and characters into the Death Company, right? I guess. I don't think we'll get any of that back with our codex, but hey, we might get a Death Company detachment. That might happen, right? Or we might get a detachment where like more units can join Death Company, or certain units can get the Death Company keyword. I don't know. Hello everyone, the boarding actions terrain is crazy. The box I bought is huge and I bought one off eBay. Did you buy it pre-painted or you buy it to paint yourself, Marcus? Because I bought the Boarding Actions terrain set, but then I commissioned someone to paint it because I figured like it takes me so long to get my Blood Angels painted if I have to paint a giant terrain set. Plus, me and Kev did have a game on the channel, and the terrain looks super cool. We need to, after this GT, Kev, which I guess is the end of the month. Like in the next couple of months, we should do a couple more games of Boarding Actions because I'll have a bit of time. I guess the reason that I didn't have any time, like we did have a game of Boarding Actions maybe like 3 months ago, but the reason I didn't kind of focus down on a few more Boarding Actions games, it's not the easiest to get the rules of as well, which is the annoying part. Games Workshop made it super difficult to get the Boarding Actions rules, which is funny because they still sell a giant box of Boarding Actions terrain, but they make it super difficult for you to get the rules. They should just release a new Boarding Actions book. That's what I would have done if I was Games Workshop, I guess. But yeah, so you still need like all the Arts of Omen books from last edition, which is anything but ideal, right? Black Rage as a detachment rule, yeah, it could be. The Boarding Actions rules are available in the PDF, but the PDF really doesn't include almost half the stuff that you need, Nathan. Because you don't get all the different... I don't think you get all the different detachment rules, and I don't think you get all the stratagems. So the PDF that they released is like half the battle, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but it really is not nearly everything that you need. I think if AOS at least goes well, we will see shifts to where they do Vanguard battles, etc. What do you mean? You mean Age of Sigmar? I honestly don't follow Age of Sigmar. I have an old edition of Age of Sigmar. Like I think I have 2nd edition, but I've never played it. Yeah, I really don't follow it. So I know a lot of people said there's like the fixed point stuff that 40k has now is like a test from Age of Sigmar. So I assume that you're saying that there's something else they're testing in Age of Sigmar right now. Probably the brand new edition that you think, if it goes well, they'll bring over to 40k. I mean, I guess it means Age of Sigmar is a bit of a test bed for them, which is fine. Did you buy the new Age of Sigmar, Big Grim, or did you and you've been following it? I know a lot of them, like the people that play on my channel, they all bought into the old world, right? Like Miles is playing the old world, Andrew's playing the old world. I was gonna say maybe someone else is playing the old world. Brett, maybe. I think the Tomb Kings are super cool. I just don't think I've got time to do another army. I don't even have time to do my Star Wars Legion army, which I've had for years, so yeah. If I had time, I would spend it on... Like, if my 40k army was finished, I would definitely want to finish my Star Wars Legion army, because it's half painted, and I kind of hate having, like, armies for other games, projects half painted. Hello Turkey, good evening, how are you? Alright. Oh, don't drop the texture paint! Ah! I think I got lucky. Didn't get any on my jeans by some miracle. Alright, 6 bikes are done. We're making progress. Tomb Kings would be fairly quick to paint. Yeah, I've got the... Is it in this box? Or is it... No, I think it was... I had a box. I think I'll probably put it somewhere down now. Where would I have put it? I had a box. A big, like, sweet box, or whatever you would call it. That had, like, I thought it was in the store down here. I guess no. But I had, like, a sweet box with, like, a bunch of half-painted Star Wars Legion stuff in it. Yeah, I don't know where I've even put it. That shows how little I've painted recently. I also have, this game, Aliens, the Ultimate Badasses. We were just talking about Aliens like 20 minutes ago, where like I've got all these characters from the movie to paint. But yeah, I mean, they're still in cellophane. So yeah, I just don't focus on anything that's not 40k. I'm always fucking doing 40k. It's always the 40k. Guess that's why it's the biggest game, because everybody cares the most about it, huh? Now, I'm gonna have to start being a bit more accurate now, because we're putting texture paint onto models with feet rather than just trying to get it up underneath the bikes. Yeah, all the boarding action section for the rules are in Wapedia. Oh yeah, I suppose you could use Wapedia. Sometimes though, here's the thing, right? Like, I do genuinely like Wapedia. Like, I think it's a great website, it's a very good tool to have access to. But like, if I could just buy a book with all the boarding actions rules, so I could actually play it a lot easier and not have to mess around using Wapedia, would I do that? Yes. I mean, I'm more likely to buy a book for boarding actions than I am to buy a codex for an army that I don't care about, right? Or at least that's... I know some people buy every codex, but I don't. Last edition I bought 4 codexes, I think. I bought Codex Space Marines, I bought Codex Blood Angels, I bought Codex Knights. Or would it be Imperial Knights, I guess, because Chaos Knights are separate. So I think it was Codex Knights and Codex Black Templars. So I bought 4 codexes last edition. I only play one army, typically. I mean, I bought the Knights Codex because that gives you access to use some of the Knights. And I don't think there was any sort of codex for the Imperial Agents last edition, right? Like, there's rumours at the moment that we're going to be getting some sort of, like, Codex Imperial Agents or Supplement Imperial Agents. I don't actually really know what it is. But I guess it's going to be like a refresh for all the agents of the Imperium, the assassins, some of the henchmen, some of the other stuff, right? So, like, we can sort of expect that might be coming this edition. So I might buy that. But yeah, I really think that they missed a boat by not just selling the boarding actions rules. The PDF is nice, but the PDF is really only half the battle. Uh, 30k Point Pro is similar to Wapedia and it works on phones. I've never heard of that site before. I'll check it out. Thanks, thanks, Jeff. Yeah, it sounds like a lot of people would buy the boarding actions rule, but boarding actions is a great game if you only have an hour. And sometimes, I mean, I don't know if I overly care about Combat Patrol, right? Like, I didn't buy the Blood Angels Combat Patrol. I mean, I probably have all the models that's inside the Combat Patrol. What was it, like a Squad of Aggressors, an Impulsor, squad of interceptors. No, intercessors, sorry, and like the Blood Angels Combat Patrol is a bit of a weird one, right? Because like it's not very Blood Angels-y at all, but maybe that's why I haven't played Combat Patrol, but I feel like I'd much rather play boarding actions than Combat Patrol. Just as like a general thing, because boarding actions is a very different type of game, right? It's like the corridors, everything feels a little bit more meaningful because it's like individual characters. I guess it feels like Kill Team. And I guess if you're looking for something different, then that's cool. Whereas I don't know if I feel Combat Patrol is all that different. Haha, that Impulsor came in clutch now. Yeah, I mean, Impulsors are good now. Benno says, got the app and Codex, but still use Wapedia because it's easier. Yeah, I mean, that's the problem with Wapedia, is it is easy. It is handy, right? Because, like, I've got my Codex and I've got my app. But, like, I do most of my... I'm one of these... I feel like... So I'm 40. I'm 40. And I know, for example, like, Kev, who I play with, is in his 40s as well. And if I'm going to sit down and make an army list, I would rather sit down in front of a computer than sit down and do stuff on my phone. Now, I know the modern generation are very phone orientated. I'm of a generation where, like, it's actually like, if I want to browse or do something on, like, write an email, I hate writing it on my phone, because it's like, oh, well, I'm going to use this tiny little screen and I'm going to have to type and I'm going to have to make mistakes. Whereas I'd like much rather just do it on the computer, because I just think it's easier. And yeah, maybe I'm the old generation, but that's the thing with Wapedias, right? Like, if I'm on my computer doing stuff, doing work, whatever, you can check Wapedia anytime. You can't always check like a phone app. And you can't always check the Codex, right? But yeah, I guess I'm the minority. Everybody uses that now. Benno says I'm the same age as you and also use the desktop. Yeah, do you know, a few months ago, maybe like 6 months ago now, my bank told me that I was no longer going to be able to manage my account on their website. I was going to have to download their app and use their app. And I just sent them a message saying, this is a horrible idea. Why would I want to look at my bank statement on a tiny little phone screen when I can look at it like as an actual statement? You know, because in your bank statement there's like a lot of things coming off, right? Why do I want to look at that on a 6-inch phone screen when for my whole life I've looked on a computer? But they pushed ahead with it, and you can no longer look at your bank statement on the website. You have to do it on the app now. I'm like, oh, okay, fine. I was very close to just leaving that bank and being like, right, I want a bank where you can still bank on the website, because I don't want to bank on my damn phone screen. That's the future, though. Gone are the days of looking at big screens. You're going to do everything on your friggin' phone. Yeah, I got kids as well, man. I put my kids on the iPad and then I sit on the computer. That's how I do it. Has anyone got any bold predictions for this week's points cost for Blood Angels? Anyone think anything is going to change? Or do we think it's going to be very much more of the same? Do we think impulsors are going to go up? Impulsors and Captains being super meta for Blood Angels. I was kind of half hoping for like a small drop on Sangregard, like maybe 1 point a model or something. I still think they're super expensive when they start dying. But maybe I'm being, probably being too hopeful. Phone is for when I'm at work or on the toilet. Yeah, I mean, I must admit. Do you remember the days when you used to have a stack of old magazines in the toilet? That's pretty much gone now. I used to have like 100 magazines in my bathroom. My wife was like, why have you got 100 magazines in here? And it was like, because I only read them for like 5 minutes every day, so it can go back to a magazine that's at the bottom of the pile. But no, long gone. No more 100 magazines in the toilet. Sad times, huh? I suppose the one advantage of these jump intercessors having stupid little rocks, tactical rocks is what they're called, means that it was quick to put the texture paint on. You don't have to try and just texture around their feet nice and easy. It's because the phone apps allow them to data mine us. I'm sure they can data mine us on the website, Blood Buffalo. But yeah, maybe. I know that the phone apps like to listen to you in your conversations, and your Alexas like to listen to you, so... I had a conversation with my wife one night. She was wanting new blinds for the kitchen or something, so we have this conversation about the blinds, and then like an hour later when I boot up my phone and turn on Amazon, it's like, we think you might like some blinds. I'm like, okay, so Alexa in the kitchen is 100% listening to our conversations then, because where the hell else did that come from? Dante, Mephiston and the Sanguiner should drop in points. I kind of agree with Dante actually. I think he's a bit too expensive. I don't think they'll drop the Sanguiner. I think they've had the chance to drop him before. I think they think his heroic intervention is very, very valuable. And you can get a lot out of that. So I think that's why they have him costed at 140. But like, hey, see if you look at like Morgan Val's new profile and compare that to the Sanguiner, it's kind of disgusting because Morgan Val's only 130. And she's like, I think she might be T7, she's T7 or 8 and she's got like 7 or 8 wounds. She's the same 2 up, 4 up. And I think she gives a unit like full rerolls to hit and wound. Morgan Val looks very, very good for 130 points. Or at least that was my impression of Morgan Val. Rezio, you're a big Morgan Val, Big Sisters fan. What do you think? Do you think she looks good for the points? She also, if she's attached to some Paragon warsuits, it looks like she gives some crazy buffs to the warsuits. I think she'll be very, very strong. GW still taxes fly like it's good. They do tax fly, and do you know what? There's a ton of anti-fly now, and there's a ton of anti-infantry. I don't think fly is as good as it once was, I guess. I mean, it's still good, but yeah, you're probably right. It gets taxed a little bit high. But yeah, this... Based on some of those other codexes, I would hope that when the Blood Angels get a codex, that Dante could come down a bit in points. Or, I mean, I'd be happy to keep Dante at 130, just give him... I think his armour in that, because he's on the bigger base, I think he looks so imposing. Like, I think he should maybe be in T5. Like, 1 extra toughness on Dante? Like his armour looks a bit better. Or maybe he just needs, like... I know his save is 1 better, but yeah... I would like to see Dante just be a bit better. Finn says that apparently when you click allow my devices to provide a better service, that means that they can listen to you. Yeah, maybe. I think if Apple ever do a good speaker, I would move away from Alexa. I've really not been that impressed with the Alexas. I like Apple stuff, but Apple are usually prohibitive by how much expensive they are, right? I forgot these guys were on these tactical rocks. This has like made this evening so much more enjoyable. Because I don't really care if I get a little bit of texture paint on the tactical rocks. Normally I care if I get texture paint on like characters' feet and stuff. I'll try and get rid of it and try and clean it up. But with the tactical rocks, if a little bit of texture paint bleeds onto them, who cares? I only bought one squad of these guys, so the next 5 guys I'm doing after are not going to have tactical rocks. These guys have tactical rocks, so make the first 5 easy. I don't think I've got big expectations for the balanced data slate. I fully expect maybe assault intercessors to go up 5 points, the captain that leads them to go up 5 points maybe, an impulsor to go up 5 points. And then I'm hoping that the Sanguinary Guard come down like 1 point and that balances out my whole army. But I'm not expecting too much, I feel like. The only reason I don't like Apple is due to the right to repair. I don't know what that means. Maybe it's a different thing in the UK. I think people should be prepared for getting Admech Custodes GSC writers and not the Orc Necron Sisters writer. Yeah, I mean, that's one thing with the codexes. It does always seem like the codexes either come out absolutely amazing or they come out very, very average. So I guess we'll see where it lands. Marine codexes seem to always land pretty averagely though, right? Like I can't remember a lot, I mean, apart from maybe Black Templars. I was going to say, I can't remember any Marine codex coming out and people like losing their minds. Maybe Iron Hands, I suppose. Iron Hands and Black Templars are the ones that seem to pop to the top as the strongest. Space Marines and CSM were fairly balanced. Yeah, I think the Space Marine Codex was somewhat decent. It's got a few decent detachments in it, but nothing too crazy. I played a couple of games against CSM this edition, but I feel like I played it right when their Codex came out, so I don't know if I feel like I don't know if I feel like I know them well enough, or I don't know if I feel like I know what people are running like most recently that's good. If that makes sense. But yeah, having played Orcs twice since their Codex came out, I'm like, they were definitely one of those races where like their Codex came out and just like blew whatever was there before completely away. I understand how Orcs play, and I know that they're like a fast moving, hey, we want to get in your space kind of army, but just what they have at the moment, with like the 30 point mega knobs where they have a 4-up feel no pain for half the game, is like somewhat obnoxious, I feel like. Yeah, this is what I didn't want to happen. Like, get some texture paint on his foot, and then you just end up spreading it everywhere. I need possibly some clean water to clean this foot off. Hello, Jaegerbomb. It's been a little while. How are you, dude? What's your predictions for 10th edition? Or what's your predictions for... I know you watch a lot of Valrak. I sometimes see you in the chat over there, Jaegerbomb. What's Valrak been telling us? Are we getting... What Blood Angels models? I actually think Blood Angels are in an okay place at the moment. I quite like the list that I've built. I like it. I like going to a tournament with a list that I've built that's not like copied from any sort of like internet meta or anything like that. And I feel like the armies that have been beating with it make me feel like there's some real hope for doing okay at this event. So we'll see. And also it's going to be cool to run the first GT, I suppose. It's been a bit of a nightmare with the data slate apparently coming out this week or whatnot, so I don't suppose there's too much we could have done about that. We just picked a crap week to run the GT, I guess. I'm afraid for what the writer for the Elder Drukhari will get. Yeah, it's weird. Codexes are weird. The balance on them always... I don't know what it is. It's like they either balance them insanely poorly or they just balance them like totally overpowered. There's no middle ground for it. What color red do I use for my base? I usually always spray my models white first. I used to always use like Skull White or Korax White. It was the Games Workshop White. I'm now using the Color Forge White. Trying to think. I think I've got a can of it right now. I don't remember. One second. Let me tell you what it's called. I think it's here. Yeah, so I'm using these now. Matte White by Color Forge because the can is 25% bigger than the Games Workshop can. The Games Workshop cans are 400. These are 500, so you get 25% more, and they're typically about $5 cheaper per can. It's exact same stuff. So I'm using that, and then I'm spraying. So I'll spray white. Then I'll spray Sanguine Red, again, Color Forge, it's cheaper. One thing you'll find out about Scottish people is we're cheap. And I got 2 kids and my wife doesn't work, so I gotta be super cheap. So yeah, I'm spraying those 2, and then typically once I've done that, so I'll spray the first coat of white, like let it dry, I'll spray the second coat of red, let it dry, and then after that I'm actually doing 2 coats painted on of Evil Sun Scarlet. That. And it's I think if you don't plan to wash it down afterwards, it's probably going to feel like it's too bright. So I don't edge highlight these guys at all. I just recess wash them. So because I start with this very bright red, when I recess wash, I get somewhere a bit darker. So it's like the lazy man's version of trying to get like a grim dark red, and it actually looks pretty decent, I think. Are you moving to Bahrain, Jaegerbomb? I don't know if I don't know how. I was gonna say, I'm sure you'll find a group, but I don't know if there's actually is there Games Workshop stores out there. I know Games Workshop are kind of worldwide because they've got like stores in Tokyo and stuff now. I think that's like a recent development, but I'm not entirely sure what they're. I suppose you could probably go on GamesWorkshop.com and have a look at like. Sure, they've got like a worldwide store map. I think if we play 40k, we have to find some way to save. Yeah. To be fair though, I had a lot of models for a lot of years, so I actually haven't had to buy too much in the last 6 months or so. I got a bunch of Primaris stuff from the Leviathan box that's not even built yet, so but yeah, no, I like the Colour Forge sprays. I think they're absolutely fine. They're very similar to the Games Workshop sprays. If you're looking to save like $5 per can and get like a little bit more paint, then I would use Colour Forge. I don't see. I think some people were. I think it's a UK company, so I'm not sure you'll get Colour Forge yet in the US. But I mean, maybe that'll come. I like Darts of Omen as well, Campbell. It seems like there is not a clear consensus amongst the Codex writers on what 40k should be. Yeah, because they definitely said that there was a lot of talk at the start of this edition about them, how they said, you know, this edition is going to be less lethal and stuff like that, and then like very little of that actually transpired. If anything, we still, you know, like we still see games where armies are tabled in like turn 3 or less. Like I don't know if I agree that this edition is any less lethal than the previous editions. But hey, I mean, this edition's fun enough. I know some people are really upset about this edition, but you know, I played this edition every single week now for, well, I mean, it must just be coming up to the year, right? And I think because I've been very limited as well, right? Like I've only had the Space Marine Codex, I've only got the 1 melee detachment. I still think there's a lot to enjoy with this edition. I do like the return of the special rules, the universal ones. I do like the way that they're doing the chapter approved stuff now. It's obviously only once per year, which I think is better. The cards I think are better than all the secondaries that we had last edition, and I guess it's a bit cheaper for people to keep up as well, because you don't need to buy a mission pack every 6 months. I think a lot of people didn't like buying the mission pack every 6 months. I was fine enough with it because like for the channel I kind of needed to buy the mission pack every 6 months, but I don't always go to a tournament every 6 months, right? So like if you weren't going to a tournament, it definitely felt like sometimes you could buy a mission pack and then be like, why did I even buy this? 6 months has gone past. Yeah, Colour Forge did do a deal with a bunch of YouTube creators, but they missed out the most important creator, Benno, which is me. So they should feel very lucky that I'm still endorsing them as a good paint product, you know. Yeah, less lethal, says Campbell. Yeah, exactly. Wait until you see Morgan Val's rules with the war suits. I believe the Paragon war suits now are going to have like multi-meltas, which are AP4 by the way. They're going to be able to get full rerolls from Morgan Val. I believe they're going to get +1 to hit and wound. Can't remember what's giving them that, but something's giving them that. So, and then if you're within 12 inches of your opponent, you're going to get assault and an additional strength. So you're going to have strength 10 multi-meltas with full rerolls to hit and wound, and +1 to hit and wound. So that's going to be an interesting unit, right? And I guess their +1 to hit and wound, I think, is going to stack over onto Morgan Val. So she's going to get +1 to hit and wound as well by being with the war suits. So yeah, there's definitely going to be some. There's going to be some lethality in 6 multi-meltas hitting on 2s, full rerolls, with strength 10 and +1 to wound, full rerolls. That's miracle dice as well there, just in case you want to, you know, pop out a 6 for flat 8 damage, I guess, because of Melta 2, right? I think Morganval looks like she is going to be... I mean, there was definitely a period in 9th edition where every Sisters player was running her for a little while, and then a lot of players also ran the Triumph of St. Catherine as well, right? But I definitely think we're going to see a bit of a return of some of that stuff. I mean, it'll be nice to play against Sisters of Battle again. I do like playing against Sisters of Battle. I think they're a fun army to play against. But I do think there's going to be some craziness there. Morvenfall is a good nickname. Oh, thanks so much, Onra, for subscribing. Appreciate it. As a mechanized guard player, it is way less lethal. Imagine having a T8 Baneblade die to 3 Eradicators. Yeah, I mean, I guess some armies might feel like it's a little bit less lethal. I certainly don't feel like it is for Space Marines with a lack of invulnerable saves. And especially when most of my army is T4 Marines, right? I got 3 guys left to get texture paint on, and then I'm going to bed. So if there's any final Blood Angels questions, now would be the time to ask them. If not, then you'll have to wait until the army list show tomorrow night at 8 PM, where we'll go through like 6 lists submitted by the community. Kind of what we do every Sunday night, 8 PM UK time. Go through a bunch of lists, see if we can help make some improvements for them, talk about the units people are including and what I dislike, and also sometimes what chat recommend, because sometimes you guys in chat know a few things that apparently not even I know. So yeah, I was surprised actually. I didn't find out till this week that that Librarian Terminator Armor's Feel No Pain Against Psychic is actually kind of better than the Chaplain's Feel No Pain Against Mortals, just because of the fact that you get to feel no pain against psychic dev wounds. I think that could be a really interesting combo. The Librarian with the Terminators. If I was needing to try a new combo, something outside the box. Is that the right? That's the right term, isn't it? Outside the box. That's the one that I would try next. I did actually run that like 2 times as well. I ran it into Eldari and it was fine. In that game, I actually brought those Terminators in to kill a bunch of D-cannons in the backfield, and they, I mean, mission success. They killed what they needed to kill, right? Is 20 Terminators enough or too few? I don't think anyone playing Blood Angels is running 20 Terminators. I think 5 is possibly the right number of Terminators. I mean, maybe you could make 10 work, but I think if you wanted to try them, I would try the 5 with the Librarian. I think that would be the most competitive option. First Company Task Force. Man, I don't think First Company Task Force are in. No one plays it, Benno. It's really sad. If they had a decent detachment rule, I think they would actually be pretty interesting. But I think their big detachment rule is just absolute dog rub. It's just rubbish. It's just absolutely rubbish. That's the one thing that I must say is, like, when they bring out the new points costs, or when they bring out like the balance status light, I'm not sure they're giving enough thought to detachments no one's running from some of the books. And I definitely feel like that's a detachment that really struggles and no one plays it. And I think it would benefit from like a small tweak, but I don't think they're, unless the whole army is really struggling, I don't think they're specifically looking at like individual detachments as like, hey, this detachment needs some balance, or this detachment is not performing. I could be wrong. So all these models you can see are on basic standards, because these were all firstborn assault marines from many years ago. So I'm trying to make sure that I get a good amount of texture paint into the gap there that is the gap between the main model and the basic standard, so we can just obscure it a little bit. I mean, it's kind of hard to see unless you're peering right at them anyway. If I try and put a little bit extra texture paint in there, it might just hide it even better, I guess. This brush has done well, but this might be the death of it. Hope they don't touch angels. Left my Deathwatch and Raven Guard behind. Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? I'm of the opinion now that I just think the codex releases are a little bit too slow, you know that? Because, well, it's possibly not that the codex releases are too slow, it's just that the edition doesn't last long enough. You know, so the edition is 3 years, give or take. And it's usually the summer they try and release that. So, you know, like essentially, if the new if the new roadmap comes out, and the roadmap says, let's say the roadmap says Blood Angels are going to get their book at the start of next year. Hell, it could even be halfway through next year. Who knows, right? Possibly the only person who knows outside Games Workshop is Valrak, and he likes to keep us all waiting. So yeah, like, potentially you know, like if it isn't till next summer, then we only get 1 year with our new codex before everything changes again. And I just think that, like, I would rather that like at the end of the edition, you know, when we got like the 6 months Arc of Omen season, I think I would rather have like just a longer period at the end of the edition where there's like everybody's balanced. There's more time to play and enjoy the game when everybody's had their codex and everybody's had their points costs and everything feels a little bit more balanced before it's just like, oh, you know, like, because, and also last edition, if you go back to like World Eaters and Guard, I think it was World Eaters and Guard, like World Eaters got their codex, people pre-ordered it. I don't even think people had it for like 10 weeks. Like maybe 10 weeks is a if it was more than 10 weeks, then I'm sorry for getting it wrong, but I do not think it was much more than 10 weeks before it was like, right, you've got your codex, but now here's the new edition. So the codex that you've just bought is, for the most intensive purposes, kind of worthless, and we're just moving into a new edition. And I just want longer for the game to be balanced each edition, so you can have more fun with the balance before we move on to a new edition. I think that would be better, but I guess I'm kind of the minority, I suppose. Alright, everybody is based. We did it. 6 Outriders. No, they're based. They're not based. Everybody's got texture paint on them. 6 Outriders, 12 Marines, and an Impulsor. That's alright. How long did that take me? An hour and a half almost on the dot. Ah, well, I can slap some wash on them tomorrow and we're good to go. Blood Buffalo says World Eaters and Guard had 2 months last time. Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought it was about 10 weeks. And I felt like that was really bad for people buying those products that only have them for 10 weeks. Jaegerbombs look... I think a lot of people are looking forward to new Assault Terminators Jaegerbomb, and it would make total sense for them to release some sort of kit, right? And also, hopefully, like, if Blood Angels or that get the... If they get an upgrade kit like the Black Templars got, that would be really good as well, so... I think those kits will come. I mean... They're doing new kits all the time, and there's probably going to be some sort of new kits with when Blood Angels get a bit of a re-release or a refresh with some Primaris characters. So, like, I guess there is a lot to look forward to, and they are slowly making changes, right? Like we just talked about it on the stream that like the data cards or the what'd you call those? The mission cards are a lot better now. And they're doing them every year rather than every 6 months. So there's positives to be had there. So things are heading in the right direction, I guess. Hello, Fireflash. I am just logging off though here. I'll be back tomorrow at 8 for our Armyless show, so hopefully I'll see some of you guys tomorrow 8 UK time. That's 3.5 hours earlier than it is right now. I'm going to go wash this brush before all this texture paint decides to totally solidify inside it. So enjoy your evening, guys. Thanks so much for hanging out. Leave a like on the stream if you didn't do that yet. And I'll see you at 8 o'clock tomorrow to talk about army lists. Have a nice evening, guys. Peace. Mm.